The smallest coin in your pocket could be hiding the biggest surprise, but only if you know what to look for. Welcome back to Change Your Life. Today, we're taking a closer look at 3 Roosevelt dimes that have caught the attention of collectors. 2001 P. Roosevelt Dime, 2010 D. Roosevelt Dime, 2016 P. Roosevelt Dime. Featuring the iconic torch, olive branch, and oak branch reverse design, and a copper-nickel clad composition, these dimes may seem ordinary. Yet collectors often inspect them for rare mint errors, die varieties, strike quality, and unusual characteristics that can make certain examples stand out. The amazing part is that many of these coins have spent years in everyday circulation without anyone giving them a second glance. Stay until the end, because the final dime has a fascinating feature that many people completely overlook. Now, let's uncover coin number 1. Have you ever wondered if a modern dime hiding in an old coin jar could be far more valuable than its face value? While millions of people overlook Roosevelt dimes every day, experienced collectors know that certain dates deserve a much closer inspection. One of those dates is the 2001 P. Roosevelt Dime, a coin that appears ordinary at first glance, but has attracted growing interest among era coin specialists and modern U.S. coin collectors. Unlike silver Roosevelt dimes struck before 1965, the 2001 P issue was produced using a copper-nickel clad composition with a pure copper core. Although it was made for everyday circulation, a small number of examples have been reported with unusual mint-made characteristics that continue to spark discussion within the collecting community. Most 2001 P dimes are worth only face value, but authenticated examples with significant mint errors or exceptional qualities can sell for much higher prices depending on rarity, condition, and collector demand. The obverse features the familiar portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, along with the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 2001. The small P mint mark identifies the coin as having been struck at the Philadelphia Mint. On circulated examples, the highest points of Roosevelt's hair, cheek, and jawline often show noticeable wear, giving the coin a well-used appearance after years in everyday commerce. Turn the coin over, and you'll find one of the most recognizable modern U.S. dime designs. The reverse displays a central torch, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch representing strength. Even on heavily circulated coins, collectors carefully inspect this design for unusual die cracks, strike weakness, doubling, or other mint-created anomalies that may separate a common dime from a collectible discovery. One reason the 2001 P. Roosevelt dime remains interesting is that modern minting technology can still produce unexpected errors. During high-speed production, dies gradually wear, metal flow changes, and striking pressure can vary. These conditions occasionally create genuine mint errors that collectors actively search for today. A coin that looks worn or dirty should never be dismissed without a closer examination, because valuable details are often hidden in the smallest features. By 2001, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes for circulation, making ordinary examples extremely common. However, large production numbers do not eliminate the possibility of rare mint-made varieties. In fact, when so many coins are struck at high speed, a very small number can leave the mint with unusual characteristics that later capture the attention of collectors. Many of the most desirable 2001 P dimes were discovered years after entering circulation. They spent time in cash registers, vending machines, piggy banks, and coin jars before someone noticed an unusual detail. That is one of the reasons modern coin collecting remains exciting. Valuable discoveries can still come from everyday pocket change. Collectors often examine these dimes under magnification, looking for signs such as double design elements, die cracks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or other verified mint-made errors. It's important to remember that ordinary wear, scratches, stains, or environmental damage usually do not increase a coin's value. The strongest premiums are generally reserved for authentic mint errors confirmed by experienced experts or professional grading services. Another feature that attracts collectors is original, untouched surfaces. A naturally circulated dime with honest wear is often preferred over a coin that has been harshly cleaned or polished. Cleaning can permanently alter the surface and reduce collector interest, while an original coin preserves its authentic history. Auction results also show an important lesson for modern coin collectors. While standard 2000 and 1p Roosevelt dimes remain worth face value in circulated condition, rare authenticated error examples or exceptional high-grade specimens have achieved impressive prices because of their scarcity and strong demand. Every coin must be evaluated individually, and values depend on the specific error, grade, and market conditions at the time of sale. That possibility is what keeps thousands of collectors searching through rolls of dimes every year. A seemingly ordinary coin could hide a genuine mint-made surprise that most people would never notice. Before spending a 2001p Roosevelt dime, it may be worth taking a closer look. You never know what small detail could make all the difference. The next coin on our list proves that even a modern dime can become a fascinating collectible under the right circumstances. The 2010 Roosevelt Dime, struck at the Denver Mint, is usually seen as ordinary pocket change. Yet dedicated collectors know that certain examples deserve much closer attention because of unusual mint-made characteristics that occasionally appear during production. The D mint mark identifies this coin as being struck in Denver. Like other modern Roosevelt dimes, it was made from a copper-nickel clad composition surrounding a pure copper core. Millions entered circulation, buying everyday items and passing through countless hands. Most remain worth only 10 cents, but authenticated error coins or exceptional high-grade examples can attract significant collector interest. On the obverse, Franklin D. Roosevelt's portrait remains the centerpiece of the design. Years of circulation often leave visible wear on the hair, forehead, cheek, and neck, giving heavily circulated coins a smooth appearance. While many people assume worn coins have little value, experienced collectors understand that a genuine mint error can still be desirable even on a circulated example. The reverse features the familiar torch, olive branch, and oak branch design, representing liberty, peace, and strength. This side is carefully examined for strike quality, die cracks, die chips, doubling, and other mint-produced irregularities. Even a subtle production error can make one coin stand out from millions of ordinary examples. The year 2010 represents a mature period of modern U.S. coin production, when advanced minting technology greatly reduced major errors. However, no manufacturing process is completely perfect. Small numbers of coins still left the presses with unusual characteristics, creating exciting opportunities for collectors who enjoy searching through circulation. Another reason the 2010 Roosevelt Dime is interesting is that many examples remain hidden in everyday change. Unlike older silver coins that were saved decades ago, modern clad dimes still circulate widely. Every coin roll, coin jar, or pocket full of change offers another chance to discover something unexpected. For experienced collectors, the excitement isn't simply finding an old coin, it's identifying the tiny details that separate an ordinary dime from a genuine collectible. Sometimes those clues are so subtle that they can only be seen with proper lighting and magnification, making every search an adventure. Although the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes in 2010, only a tiny percentage displayed genuine mint-made errors or unusual production characteristics. That is why collectors spend countless hours searching bank rolls, estate collections, and pocket change hoping to uncover an overlooked example. One of the first things specialists examine is the quality of the strike. A well-struck coin should display sharp details throughout Roosevelt's portrait and the reverse design. When striking pressure changes or a die begins to wear, certain areas may appear weaker than normal. While not every weak strike is valuable, unusual and verified mint-produced variations often attract collector attention. Collectors also inspect the rim, lettering, and mint mark for possible doubling, die chips, die cracks, or other production-related features. These small details can transform an otherwise common dime into an interesting collectible. However, scratches, dents, corrosion, or damage that occurred after the coin left the mint generally do not add value. Heavily circulated examples tell a story of everyday American commerce. A single 2010 dime may have traveled through supermarkets, restaurants, parking meters, vending machines, and cash registers before finally catching the eye of a collector. Every mark reflects years of real-world use, making each circulated coin unique. Professional grading services play an important role when unusual coins are discovered. Experts determine whether a feature was created during the minting process or resulted from later damage. Authentication is especially important because genuine mint errors are much scarcer than coins altered after circulation. Most 2010 Roosevelt dimes are worth only their face value, but authenticated error coins or outstanding high-grade examples can bring much stronger prices when collector demand is high. Their value depends on the specific error, rarity, preservation, and current market interest, not simply the date alone. That is why many experienced collectors never ignore modern dimes. Even a common-looking 2010 Roosevelt dime could reward a careful inspection if it displays a genuine mint-made characteristic that sets it apart from the millions of ordinary pieces produced that year. The final coin in today's countdown brings us to one of the newest Roosevelt dimes that has captured the attention of modern coin collectors, the 2016 Roosevelt Dime. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary 10-cent coin that millions of Americans have used for everyday purchases. Many examples are heavily circulated, showing scratches, dark toning, worn details, and years of pocket use. Because of its modern date, most people never stop to examine it closely. Yet experienced collectors know that some recent coins can hide surprisingly valuable mint-made varieties and unusual striking characteristics. The Roosevelt Dime series has been part of American coinage since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt for his leadership during World War II and his support of the March of Dimes campaign. While older silver dimes often receive the most attention, modern clad issues have become increasingly popular among collectors searching for overlooked treasures still found in circulation. The 2016 dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint using a copper core with outer layers of copper-nickel-clad metal. Hundreds of millions were produced, making normal examples extremely common. However, large production numbers also increased the chance that a small number of coins left the mint with unusual die varieties, striking irregularities, or planchet-related errors that specialists actively search for today. This particular example is described as heavily circulated, with natural wear across both sides of the coin. Washington's successor, Franklin D. Roosevelt, remains clearly visible on the obverse, although the highest points of the portrait show smooth wear from years of circulation. Rather than reducing interest completely, this type of honest circulation often tells the story of a coin that spent years moving through stores, banks, vending machines, and countless pockets before finally being examined by a collector. One feature that attracts attention on certain 2016 dimes is the possibility of minor double details, die deterioration, or subtle strike abnormalities around the lettering and date. These characteristics require careful magnification because they can easily be mistaken for ordinary wear. Collectors understand that genuine mint-made varieties differ from damage that occurs after a coin enters circulation. The reverse displays the familiar torch, olive branch, and oak branch design, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. On well-preserved examples, these details appear sharp and balanced. On circulated pieces like this one, natural wear may soften the design, but unusual strike characteristics or die markers can still remain visible, making close inspection worthwhile. Unlike precious metal coins, the value of a modern clad dime depends almost entirely on rarity, collector demand, verified mint errors, and professional authentication rather than its metal content. That is why experienced collectors never overlook even the newest Roosevelt dimes when searching through pocket change. One reason the 2016 Roosevelt dime continues to attract attention is that modern minting operates at extremely high speeds. Even with advanced equipment, small production mistakes can occasionally occur before they are detected and corrected. When those genuine mint-made errors escape into circulation, they become fascinating discoveries for collectors. Some authenticated 2016 dimes have been reported with noticeable die chips, die cracks, struck-through errors, off-center strikes, or other mint-made abnormalities. While the vast majority of 2016 dimes are worth only face value, unusual verified error examples can command significant premiums depending on the rarity, condition, and demand among collectors. Professional grading also plays an important role. Specialists carefully examine the coin under magnification to determine whether unusual features occurred during the minting process or resulted from post-mint damage. A certified mint error generally attracts much stronger collector interest than an uncertified coin with uncertain characteristics. Another interesting aspect of this issue is that many valuable discoveries begin as ordinary circulation finds. Collectors regularly search bank rolls, coin jars, and pocket change because modern era coins often remain unnoticed for years. A worn appearance alone does not determine value. What matters is whether the coin displays a genuine and verifiable mint-made variety. Natural toning, circulation marks, and darkened surfaces can also add character when they developed honestly over time. However, experienced collectors distinguish between original surfaces and artificial alterations, making authentication especially important before assigning a premium value. Recent years have seen growing interest in modern Roosevelt dime varieties, as more collectors focus on coins that are still obtainable from circulation. Improved photography, online collector communities, and professional grading services have made it easier to identify previously overlooked mint errors, increasing awareness of modern clad coin collecting. Although stories of extremely high-value modern coins often circulate online, not every unusual-looking dime is rare. The strongest prices are generally achieved by coins with well-documented, authenticated mint errors, outstanding preservation, or exceptionally rare production varieties. Careful examination and expert verification remain essential before estimating any coin's value. That is why collectors recommend checking every Roosevelt dime before spending it. A small detail that most people overlook could be the feature that makes one coin far more interesting than millions of ordinary examples. In coin collecting, patience, knowledge, and close observation often lead to the most exciting discoveries.